just musing on the nature of form and this form-filled dimension that we know as time-space, as three-dimensional reality. And how interesting it is, how incredible it is that all of this is self-expressing. There is a fine line, there is an important nuance between the understanding that we are not the form, we are not identified with form. The form is not us, actually. The form is not us, yet we are the form. The form is not a thing that we are contained by. Form, in all forms, is ultimately illusory. It's illusion, it's temporary, it's ephemeral, it's transient, it fades away. The destiny of all form is to change, is not to last, so to speak, is to become something else, is to change. And yet, the form changes, but that which has given form, has given rise to the form, that which is informing the form beneath it remains. It is unchanged, it is unchangeable, it is eternal. That is the truth of who and what we are. And so there is that balance that we are called to seek, that we are in the unique position to seek. As consciousness which has chosen deliberately to incarnate, to flow into form. It was a choice. It didn't happen by accident. It happened on purpose, and that purpose was desire. We wanted to do this. We desired this. We desired to be the self-expressing through the flowing into form. And so form is not a thing to be rejected. Form is a part of ourself. It is not our identity, because we are unlimited. And form necessarily is limited. And yet, is it? It would appear to be, from this perspective, from the perspective of this dimension. And yet it's easy to see, even demonstrated here, how all form continuously changes, how it is constantly evolving and growing and becoming more, and that which fades away simply feeds into the next emerging thing. There is a lot of suffering, certainly, that arises from attachment to a specific form, to that formulation of energy, and to the limiting of the self by identifying with that form in totality, whether that is a physical form or an imagined, as Eckhart Tolle would call it, a role identity. The role of parent, the role of girlfriend, wife, lover, the role of sibling, the role of teacher, the role of student, any of these things. When we allow those roles to become the identity, then we lose the connection to our true self. We lose track of the truth that this is a role that we are playing. It is not the whole of who we are. It is not the end-all be-all. It is neither the first thing nor the last thing that we shall be or become. It is but one piece of an everlasting puzzle, an endless journey in which we are forever flowing into and out of and into different forms, different roles. And so it is wise, certainly, not to identify yourself as that role or as that thing, and not to become attached to the specific formulation in any given moment of energy. Whether it is a physical thing that you are attached to or another person, I suppose all of it is a physical thing in some sense, or something less tangible, like the nature of a relationship with another. In any case, to be bound, to bind the self, to limit the self in definition by your attachment to the expression of that moment, then certainly gives rise to suffering when that form inevitably changes. And yet, that form is not to be rejected either. To reject the world of form, knowing it is illusion, knowing all is illusory and all form ultimately fades, and then to simply decide not to have any part in it, to reject it, is still a rejection of the self. This is the self. All of this is the self expressing by desire, not by confusion, not by mistake, because it chose to, because it wanted to. We are here because we want to be, because we want to experience ourself, because we want to know self carnally. That is why we are incarnate. And carnal means tangible, touchable, experienceable in a profound and visceral way, in a sensual way. That is what we are here to do. And so the trick, it would seem, is to find the balance point, the place in which we hold in our awareness the truth of our being, the truth of the nature of all being, that this reality is illusory, is in effect a hologram of sorts, a dream. It is imagined. Nothing here stays the same, because the self is never the same from one moment to the next, because the self desires to be unlimited and desires to express in unlimited form and fashion, and it shall do so. But to be along for the ride, to engage, as Abraham Hicks has said, we're not here to ohm on a cloud. We're not here to be non-physical. If we were to be non-physical, we would have stayed non-physical in entirety. If that was our desired intention, if that was the goal, we would have just stayed there. We would never have bothered with the manifested world. We are here to experience manifestation in a physical way, and to appreciate it, to allow it, to invite it, and to invite it to change as well, to let it be whatever it be's in that given moment. If it comes, I let it come. If it leaves, I let it leave. There is a level of detachment, yes, but still, there's the desire to be engaged with it, to be present in that moment, with the moment as it is expressing. If there is something coming towards me in that moment, which lights me up with passion and joy, then I engage in that. I don't reject it. I don't reject that joy within me. And if that thing leaves, I don't reject the sadness either. I am not disturbed by it, because I still have this connection to the broader presence, to the awareness that everything is as it should be, that I am here to experience, I am here to feel, and this is a part of that experiencing, that nothing has, ever will, or ever could possibly go wrong. And so even in the feeling, the experience of sadness, there is the awareness that yes, the broader part of me does not feel sad. The broader part of me is unaffected. It is. But not rejecting the part of me that feels either. And so too, if something enters my experience that is uncomfortable to me, that is something that hurts, not to deny the hurt, not to push against it either. If it comes, I let it come. I find my place, my peace in the surrender to the moment either way. But that means surrendering to the whole moment, and that includes the feeling. That includes the feeling. That includes acknowledging that desire exists within me. And also, simultaneously, that my true desire always is to be in this broader perspective, to have the connection to presence, because that is where my eternal peace and joy is found. And I always have that. That is always attainable. That is always mine. It is never in question. It's stable. It's here. And so again, all the rest can be taken less seriously. It's not such a big deal. There's nothing serious going on here. I am stable no matter what is entering or leaving my physical experience. But I am not removing myself from the physical experience. I am still here. I am here to be physical. I am here to experience this realm in all of its nuances and variety and diversity. I am here to feel it fully, to reject no part of that feeling, whether it is the highest of highs or the lowest of lows. I am big enough and stable enough and sturdy enough in the truth and the knowing of the foundation of who and what I am to allow the breadth and the depth of all experience to take place within me, to allow it deliberately, to be present for it, to be present and engaged with it, not consumed by it, but not afraid of it either, not holding back, not pushing it away, not rejecting any part of it, because ultimately it is all myself, and it is all of myself that I'm here to accept, to experience, to appreciate, and to enjoy. Let me be as I am, and invite the wholeness of my being to exist as it chooses, as it is inspired to be, and as it desires to be, and it desires powerfully in each and every moment. So it is.